Welcome to Sjenica, in the southwestern part of Serbia. Join me on the journey in exploring the Pešter Plateau, various viewpoints and other interesting locations. Sjenica has around 30,000 residents and is considered one of the coldest towns in Serbia, with the lowest measured temperature of -39 Celsius. Interestingly, on June 17, 1989, as much as 15 centimeters of snow fell here. It was first mentioned in 1253 in the charter of King Uroš, and due to its location it was important to Serbia, Montenegro, Austro-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire. Attempts to liberate it from the Ottoman Empire were made in 1668 and 1737. However, liberation was not achieved until 1912. As always, we are beginning the story from the center. This time we are in this large and beautiful park, where on that side there are coniferous trees and a playground, while on this side is this lovely little house, which serves as the local tourist office, and we'll head in that direction. Right next to the park there is also a square with various cafes, and in front of me is this bridge where we are about to cross. Here in the middle of the bridge there is a little viewpoint. On this side is the Djurdjevica stream and on the other is Grabovica. And this is the view on the other side. Over there we can see some unfinished buildings, and on the left there is a row of old houses. This was nicely envisioned as a riverside promenade with various shops. Here it says shoemaker, barber. However, as we can see, everything is ruined and vandalized. Here is also this fountain, which is a replica of the Sarajevo's Sebilj. Right next to the Sebilj, some construction is underway, but on this old building I came across an interesting inscription that says, "Where life is hard, speech is beautiful." And below it says, "I speak, write and think in Bosnian." The pedestrian zone continues in this direction, but will head uphill toward another small park. On this side we can also see some old and abandoned buildings, including one that burned down. It looks nice, doesn't it? And here is also some kind of a monument. We'll check it out. These were supposed to be benches arranged in circle, but only the concrete and metal remain. I'm not entirely sure who this monument is dedicated to, probably some fallen fighters, but what I am sure of is that Sjenica suffered greatly throughout its history, especially during the first Serbian uprising. In 1809, the Serbian army led by Karađorđe attacked Sjenica, resulting in about 2,500 Muslims losing their lives. The Muslims offered a truce and wanted to surrender, but the Serbian army spared neither women nor children. Even Vuk Stefanović Karadžić wrote about this, and I must quote him. "It's not the duty of a historian to hide from people their shame, but as a lover of truth, to reveal it to them in order to reject such a past." Several records testify that before this clash Sjenica had around 700 houses, while a record from 1836 describes it as a small village with barely 150 households. Today, about 70% of the population are Bosniaks, while the rest are Serbs and Muslims. The population mainly engages in farming and livestock breeding. This behind me is the Sultan Valide Mosque. It was built as an endowment by the mother of the 32nd Sultan and 111th Islamic Caliph Abdul Aziz. This is the only imperial mosque preserved in Serbia, and at the time of its construction it was the westernmost imperial mosque in Europe. another small park in town. This is the third, and I think there are 4 in total. Here is also a monument dedicated to the fallen fighters of Sjenica district and the partisans who fought for the liberation of this place. About 2 hours ago I filmed that beautiful inscription, and as you can see, it's no longer there. A new day, and we are heading out to explore the surrounding area. We are arriving at Hotel Borovi. Here is the hotel and a restaurant. But we didn't come here because of it. We came to see this beautiful lake and a forest where we are going to take a walk and explore it a bit. This is the view on one side, and this is the view on the other. This is a small artificial lake, and there you can rent pedal boats. I also saw ducks swimming. Here is the trim trail and the picnic area, also called Borovi, just like the hotel. Now we'll take a walk around since this place seems really beautiful. The entire trail is about 2.5 kilometers long. It's well maintained, with gravel on both sides and covered with mulch. The atmosphere is pleasant, fresh air and pine trees all around. This looks like a tree fell on it. Yes, it definitely fell and was cut later. This part of the trail was washed away by water, and here we also have some company. I'm in the upper part of the trail, which looks much nicer than the lower one. The forest is denser, and on this side the view is slowly starting to open up, and the trail leads us this way. At the very end, we'll probably turn left once more and arrive at the place where we started. Along the entire length of the trail, we have these lamps, although some of them are broken. The trail is probably lit in the evening hours. There are also resting spots. I mean, plenty of benches. There is a trash can here as well. So roughly every 200 meters you can sit and take a break. Now we are in slightly more open section. I'm really impressed. So far, this is the most enjoyable trail I've walked in Serbia. Somehow I find this trail even more beautiful than the one on Zlatar in Nova Varoš. Is it because this trail is so well maintained or because of the surroundings? Although it looks similar. There is also pine forest, but that's just my impression. And this is the spot where we are turning left, and over there stretches a beautiful view of the whole town. As I said, we are arriving at the place where we have started, and now on to the next destination. Our next destination is Golija National Park. We'll visit a couple of viewpoints and maybe something more. The road is very good, nicely marked, the asphalt is perfect, and on both sides there is a beautiful view. As we climb, you can see further and further into the distance on both sides. We are reaching this intersection. So we came along this road. There is a beautiful view here. And on the other side up there is a viewpoint that isn't marked on the map. We'll try to reach it later. But now we are turning right toward another viewpoint, and the road that goes straight ahead leads to Ivanjica. We have about 6 more kilometers to the viewpoint. But as I said, along the entire road there is a beautiful view. Look at this vastness, and how far can you see? Here are some cows grazing. That's why the cheese and milk from Sjenica are the best. The cows graze freely in nature. They eat many different plants, which makes their milk much healthier. We didn't find the viewpoint. It was probably marked incorrectly. But we came across this very nice weekend settlement, where you can rent accommodation. There are a lot of these small cabins, a hotel over there, and also sports courts for football, basketball and tennis. The temperature is about 17 degrees, even though it's July 17th. An interesting thing about Sjenica is that last night it was 5 degrees. And yesterday during the day it was 25. Tomorrow the forecast says it will be high as 35 and during the night again 8 to 9 degrees. So the temperature really changes a lot. The nights are cold and the days are hot. And here we are at the viewpoint, a beautiful view in all directions. Over there is Jankov Vrh, where some transmitters are installed. And here you can observe from several different spots. It's truly wonderful. And from here we can also see our next destination. So where we were standing before at the intersection, the road goes straight up that hill and there is another viewpoint. And while we were enjoying the view, I got hungry, so let's take the opportunity to try what we bought this morning at the bakery. So this is zeljanica, and it's made from thin pastry sheets and filled with patience dough. It's tasty, healthy, and basically you can buy this anywhere in Serbia. It's nothing that special.
What is healthy?
Patience dough.
Yes, it is, but rye flour and lard are not.
It's tasty, juicy, not dried out. Otherwise, you can buy it in most parts of Serbia, so it's not something that's special to this place. But what is special are mantije. Mantije are also made from these thin pastry sheets. Now, whether they are homemade or not, I'm not sure, but what makes them special is that they are filled with meat. So, here's what they look like. They are also tasty, the meat is okay, not too greasy, they are crispy and very nice. The road is good so far. We are about halfway in this forest. And it'll be nice if we get out of it. On the way to the viewpoint, we came across several cows enjoying the shade and fresh grass. And here it is, finally. So far, out of everything we've seen, this viewpoint is the most beautiful. You can see all the way from this side, down there is Sjenica, all the way to the other. At the viewpoint itself, there is also this structure. You can stay in the shade, and if you get caught in the rain or bad weather, you can take shelter there. Although I'm freezing, a wind is blowing. The only problem was that the viewpoint isn't marked on the map, so I found out about it purely by chance. Everything you can see behind me is Mount Golija and also Golija National Park. That area has been placed under state protection because of its specific flora and fauna, its diverse forests and other interesting and specific or rare plants. Our next destination should be Pešter and the Pešter Plateau. Now it all depends on whether we'll manage to visit everything today and where the road will take us. But first, let's get down from this peak. And as I said, this area is mountainous and hilly, and there are many of these beautiful landscapes, meadows, pastures, and of course lots of livestock. The most common are cattle. From somewhere around here begins the Pešter Plateau. However, besides the beautiful landscapes, what surprised me was that everywhere along the road, on both the left and the right side, the entire way, there are piles of trash. Bags, bottles, all sorts of things. It looks like everyone is littering and no one clears it up. I honestly haven't seen this much trash in a long time. This is Pešter. We even passed a sign that says second degree of state protection. Is this what state protection looks like? This is a disaster. On this side over here, we see the beauty and landscapes of Pešter. And behind me is Jankov Vrh. From here, there is a beautiful view over the entire Pešter. I'm not sure if we are on the right road, since it's not very clearly marked. We are following Google Maps, which is guiding us along these roads. Now we'll see where we end up. And maybe we didn't reach Trojanov Peak, because the road going up is very steep, so it's not really suitable for a vehicle. But here we are on a small hill. Look at these landscapes. It's beautiful. Truly beautiful. Over there is also a wind turbine. So we'll probably drive up there as well. Finally, we found the spring. It's located within this fenced area. And this is the Djurdjevica Spring or Djerekare Spring, depending on who you ask. The area is fenced on all sides. The only entrance is through this section. There's also a legend associated with this spring. In the Pešter Plateau there was a town of Tsar Trojan, and nearby there was a lake where a terrible dragon lived, to which a young girl had to be offered regularly as a sacrifice. And when it was the turn of the Tsar's daughter, Saint George or Djerdjeles, depending on who tells you the legend, heard about it. He was in love with the girl and wanted to save her, so he decided to kill the dragon. He came here and fought it at this spot, and when he accidentally struck the ground with his sword, at that place this spring appeared. Typical for Pešter, like we've seen in several places. More or less the view is similar, beautiful and endless fields. Since it's slowly getting dark, we'll head back to Sjenica to accommodation, and tomorrow we'll return to continue exploring the Pešter Plateau. Good morning from Pešter. We are back and continuing where we left off, and right now we are looking for a lake. And here we are, arriving at the lake. Here it is. As you can see, the lake isn't very large, especially in the summer, but it still serves as drinking place for animals. As we see in the distance, a cow has gone into the water to cool off. The Pešter Plateau is one of the largest in Europe. It covers an area of 63 square kilometers, and it's located at an altitude of 1153 meters. In 1954, a temperature of -38.3 Celsius was recorded here. That's why Pešter is often referred to as the Balkan Siberia. The reason for such low temperatures is that it's surrounded on all sides by hills and mountains, and due to its unique plant and animal life, this area has been placed under state protection. We've made it up here, to this wind turbine, to enjoy the view a bit, because it's magnificent. Unlike the location we visited yesterday by that big hill, from here you can also see some forest, not just fields and pastures. People come here mostly for peace and quiet, and the endless view all around. Pešter is very pleasant even in the summer. People here mostly engage in livestock farming, raising animals adapted to such cold winters, but people also do another job here, which is harvesting juniper. Juniper produces small berries that are used, first of all, to make the famous juniper brandy. They can also be used for teas, for sweets, jams, and various other products. For this reason, they are very expensive because harvesting them is very difficult. The berries are very small and the plant is thorny, so picking them is hard. On the other hand, animals don't eat them because the thorns keep them out of reach. According to some locals who harvest juniper, one person can earn a few thousand euros per season, something between 5,000 and 10,000 euros depending on how much you work. This is what they look like, although these are still green and not ripe yet. This behind me is the Djerekare Mosque. We decided to visit it because it's really beautiful inside. It's covered with tiles and honestly, I haven't had the chance to see such a beautiful mosque in Serbia, since mosques usually don't have many decorations inside. However, this one is an exception. It looks stunning. From here, we are going back to Sjenica in order to explore the other side. Just a few kilometers from Sjenica are the springs of Sjenica. A river flows through here. There is also a small bridge you can cross. There seems to be another spring or maybe a monument. We'll check it out. And here is a monument and the spring. The landscape is really beautiful. We are surrounded by these hills all around. Here is a river or a stream, And there is a mill that has been owned by the same family since 1823. By the way, this location is very popular. There are many visitors here. The water is very cold. It's so cold that after a few seconds your fingers start to hurt. Just a few kilometers past these springs is a ski center. We won't visit it right now because it's summer, so I'm not sure what we do here, but just so you know. And we've reached the village of Grabovica, or at least I think this is it, or maybe it's behind that hill. And here on the road from Grabovica to Šušare, at the top of some hill, we can see houses, barns, and some vehicles. How do you live here in winter when it snows? It all depends on the people who come to clear it. Some clear it right away, while others say they'll come later. When the snow starts melting, it softens and small cars get stuck in the middle of the road. And here, while passing by, we had the chance to meet this man right at lunchtime. We stopped to ask for direction, and he invited us for coffee, and now he's going to tell us a little about this place. What's life like here? Normally old-fashioned. We are retirees now. We have a small property here. This is a small village called Šušare. They say it got its name from the forest and water. The forest rustles, the water rustles, hence the name Šušare. You told me that you lived in the town and returned here to the place where you were born. Why did you return? I came back here because I couldn't live in the town. I had nothing to live on. Here, the property remained after my parents passed and I came here to continue. I have 4 cows, it's just wife and me. There is no rush, pensions are small. The company was sold and for 7 years my pension contributions weren't paid. My pension was just 143 euros. My health is really good and so on. Well, with hills like these, you'll probably live to 100. What's it like here in winter? In winter? Do you get heavy snowfalls? Well, the last 2 or 3 years it's been light, otherwise it snows a lot. The worst is when the wind blows. It creates snowdrifts and big machines have to be brought in to clear them. Not just this village, but all the villages in Sjenica municipality. Sjenica municipality has 105 villages, so it's a large area. Do you stock up on supplies before winter? Yes. Full barns, house full of flour. That's for just in case, right? Just in case. Because overnight a meter of snow can fall and you can't go anywhere. So we stock up enough for 4 to 5 months. The necessary food, firewood, coal. We use coal too. So... This house where you live is wooden, right? Part of it is wooden, part is stone. The stone section used to house the fireplace and daily living space. Now it's renovated with the kitchen and a bedroom. The house was built in 1822 and it's still standing. It's still standing. Were winters harsher back then? Yes, the snow was heavier, a lot, but the villages were more populated, so people helped each other. Of course, there used to be community work gatherings. For example, when hay was cut by hand with scythes, people would just gather, and someone would ask, which meadow are we going to? It was the norm. 10 to 15 people would gather, depending on the day. Where did you go to school? I went to school here. You'll see it on the way to Sjenica. That was an elementary school with 4 grades. And then from 4th to 8th grade in Sjenica. There are no people here anymore. And where do children go now? There are no children here, everyone goes to Sjenica. In villages, maybe in a slightly larger village, but overall there are no people. By area we are a large municipality, but in fact we are small. The town has no industry, nothing at all. There are some private businesses. There is a textile factory, there are also 2 or 3 slaughterhouses, meat and milk production, and that's it. As far as I researched, textile production here was very important in the 70s, right? Very, very important. It was a giant. And Kombinat Pešter, it had large areas. It had 500 sheep. That was the famous Sjenica's sheep. Why should someone come to this place? Well, just look, turn the camera around and you'll see for yourself. Nothing else is needed. Here is the whole story. As one person said, there are no Serbs or Muslims, there are only people and non-people. Just think like that and you'll never go wrong. For example, we are sitting together in a cafe and everyone is just going about their business. Later they gather again. If someone needs help, whether they are building a house or digging the foundation, the neighbors will come to help. It was really, really good. What livestock do you have? I have 4 cows. I kept 1 heifer because I'm rebuilding the herd. I might sell the older cow. That's all we can manage, just 2 of us. How difficult it is to do this work, considering the cows are out grazing and not kept in. This isn't intensive livestock farming, where they are fed with concentrates. Here the cows are all kept on pasture. You can see the wires. You enclose the area, turn on the fence, and the cows enjoy it. When they need water, we let them down to the trough. It's different up here than down in town. It's 15 degrees warmer than Sjenica. Here it reaches minus 17 degrees. It doesn't get any colder. While down there it can reach minus 28 or even minus 30. For me, the cows are the easiest job, slow and relaxing. There is no rush. You don't watch the clock. Not at all. And we try to make sure they have better calves, more milk. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you for coming here. If you ever come to our town, you can be our guest. Earlier, the man mentioned that he went to primary school here, and that's exactly this building behind me. Let's check it out. Here are the old school desks. It feels like we went back in time. Here's the stove too. There are a few more. The desks are arranged in a circle. There is a broken wall. Let's see the date on this map. Socialist Federal People's Republic of Yugoslavia, 1952. It's hard to imagine today that here, a long time ago, children came here to school. And classes were held in this room. Today it seems completely unimaginable. Don't follow the same beaten paths as everyone else. Allow yourself to get lost somewhere. Talk with locals. Stop, ask questions and find out how they live. We had the opportunity to meet this guy. He invited us for coffee. It's nice to hear other people's stories. And sometimes those short moments, just a few minutes, can bring you much closer to a place or a destination than any commercial content ever could. We are entering Sjenica, and now from the other side, the same way we went a year ago. The trash that was here last year is literally in the same place. So in a year, no one bothered to clean it. If you watched previous videos, you probably already know we are at Uvac at the viewpoint Molitva. I really have no luck with this location because last time it was raining and now camera lost sound. Anyway, what I want to say is that the Uvac River Canyon is one of the most beautiful places in Serbia. This is a special nature reserve with many rare plants and animal species, among which the most famous is the griffon vulture. The Molitva viewpoint is one of the most beautiful, and cruising on Sjenica lake and through the Uvac canyon is a special adventure. And all of this is near Sjenica. If you want to learn more, make sure to watch the Uvac video and I'll see you there.